Hey, what's going on? Justice Severn here. I am dropping a special replay for you here today. It was actually a replay of a live stream that I did. It was the final live stream I did in my private community in 2024, where I broke down my trilogy secret asset basically here. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm a little sick today, and it's kind of funny as I'm listening back. I don't know if I'm sick in there, but it sounds a little congested, probably cold season. Just winter in Boston. But with that being said, I actually gave away 3 elite level resources inside that video. And you're gonna hear me basically asking people to drop the hashtag secret if they wanted the resource. So I didn't want you to feel like you're getting left out. You're gonna feel free to go ahead and drop the hashtag secret. I'll reach out to you manually. Or at the same time, check down below in the description, the YouTube description here, and you'll see that I actually went ahead and hooked you up and put the link there so you can actually get my bestseller business manuscript, which includes not only those 3 same elite level resources in the Trilogy Asset piece there, but I'm also giving you more to really help you double down, just get you some other goodies, just allow you to really kind of get some more nuggets here. The video itself is filled with nuggets as it's walking through. You're going to want it just based off of you watching this video at the same time. And I'm not even talking about the entire manuscript. I'm talking about just those 3 resources there. But I want to make sure I just go above and beyond here for you here today. Maybe because I'm feeling sick, I'm feeling weak, so I want to hook you up. Secret Trilogy Assets. We have made it. We have made it. We have made it. This, like I mentioned here for myself, let's go ahead and move this over. This for me, like I said, this little backstory. I don't want to call it a prerequisite. Little backstory here as we round out the end of 2024. It's the last live stream of 2024 here, which feels crazy. I just closed over $300,000 in sales here, and to me, I kind of the theme behind why I released this in the community yesterday was I really just want to go ahead and give you a secret for each of the 100,000, if you will. So with that being said, really I made these all very recently on this side here because I wanted to give you the latest, greatest stuff that's been working for me, so you can really go ahead and take this, implement, and run with it in your own business, right? So that cool with you? Like I said, and absolutely, I'm going to be giving this to you as well. If you want this, let me know. If you're interested in hearing me kind of talk through this as well, let me know. Drop a yes in the comments. Say, Justice, I like this. I want to get rolling. Let's dive in. Say no more. I'll make sure I keep on taking a peek. And definitely, if you're watching live, hit that like and love button right now, too. Let's make sure we get this throughout the community as well. Want to make sure everybody else is soaking this up here, too. So with that being said here, let's go ahead and tap in. Secret Trilogy Assets. Secret Trilogy Assets. What are they? Let's lean into them. Number 1, we got the Drive Traffic Manual, right? Number 2, we have the Content Consumption Cookbook. Number 3, we have the Direct Connection Diary. Can you tell I had some fun making these names here, right? Regardless what the name is, the value behind it is what you're here for most, and that's in reality. I was going to say that's why you're going to stay. Whether you stay or not, that's on you. I'm here to deliver a massive amount of value. Kudos to you if you do. You will be thankful. And kudos to you if you're watching this later on the replay. It's a good one. So with that being said, let's go ahead and keep this moving. Secret Trilogy Assets. So with this, like I mentioned, did over 300K here in 2024 and that's not even over yet. We'll see if we can hit up to 350 or so. But that's where we're at right now. As you keep going here, just wanted to give back and kind of, like I said, end this with a finale. If you didn't see, I could always share it in the group here too. I did share this post in the group earlier. This was yesterday where I gave this. People already raising their hands for this. Just cool to see. Like I said here too. If you've gotten this already, awesome, love it. Let me know how it went. If you haven't, I'm giving this again away today for free. Obviously, if you want to go ahead and just make sure, feel free to come back to this post too, and you'll get hooked up. But with that here, we have the 3 pieces. But one thing I didn't really get to explain in the post yesterday, and I just kind of want to just give some insight, if you will, here, really is the model that this comes from, right? Let me know down below who here has seen my 2025 manuscript. Let me know down below if you see my 2025 manuscript here. Really, it's really kind of when you join the group, I give you access to it there as well. Breaks down just kind of everything top to bottom from what I've done to hit my first million and beyond. I didn't really, and then honestly, kind of part of the reason for being transparent why I did this too was I wanted to fill in the gap where I didn't break down as much in these 3 topics, and even in the manuscript there, where I threw so much there as far as bunch of ninja tricks and hacks, and I really wanted to make sure yet again here today that I really filled in the gaps, but also just filled in the gaps for you with your strategy within these. And so where this really stems from, as you can tell here, the drive traffic manual, that's the first big piece of the model here, right? Driving traffic. We're bringing in cold traffic into the business, generating that attention on social media. Right, we'll get into a little bit more of what this looks like. Here you can kind of see my main platforms now I operate with it, right? Really leveraging Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, short form content, how I do that there. Beyond that, we then have content consumption, right? Leads right into the content consumption cookbook. So with that here, this is where in reality, I'm breaking down now how do we kind of, we have this colder traffic, now how do we start to warm that traffic up? How do we start to really kick that into full gear, if you will, here, and get a bit more, instead of this width focus, start nailing down into this depth focus that much more. I mean, and then from there, beyond that, we want to build trust with our audience by moving them around your ecosystem. And really, that's how we're doing this. For one, with social media, if you have an all-in-one system, you got email, free and low-ticket offers, you can really get creative here. And this is where, like I said, this is as you can even see here, we're talking right now, 30,000-foot view. Today's live stream is to go deeper. And obviously, at the end of this, I'm giving you access to each of these, right? Just a little quick scan. I literally am giving you all of these inside of this document. So you're getting this doc. This is not like I'm gatekeeping here. I just want to make sure we all start off on the same page. And then lastly, the direct connection, right? Which leads right obviously to direct connection diary. So with that there, this is obviously here where really the hot traffic starts kicking in. Is really heavily on the conversion focus, and we are actually connecting with our audience. So many people don't want to connect with their audience. They want to just kind of stay purely behind the scenes. Just like, I don't even want to call it living the dream because it's a fantasy more than a dream. That lifestyle, absolutely possible. Don't get me wrong here. But it depends on where you're at, the leverage you have, how much your expertise is to be able to really do that, to be truly behind the scenes. And I wanted to show you how I've been able to take this and really run within my own business. So that sounds good to you. Let me know down below. I just want to show you the model here. Comment model down below if this is making sense. Obviously, keep hitting that like and love button if this is hitting home for you too so far. But yeah, like I said, I just want to kind of lay this home because this for me is really the difference maker in a sense of just implementing this entire model. It's the same thing I'm teaching my clients. It's the same thing I've been doing here really since the beginning of 2023 is when I started to kind of take this approach, where before it was a lot more heavily built on just, I don't know, variety. I got in this industry in 2020 and this specific niche, if you will, in the coaching space. And yeah, really, obviously, you kind of bounce around and try to find what works. And this is something where once I kind of land on a few things, trial and error, this is where it took me. And this is where I've been taking people because I feel like it leads to less burnout and obviously it leads to more dollars in your pocket. So with that being said, this is really, like I said, just want to leave this for you here. I got this inside so you can really understand where these secrets are coming from. Like I said, this is not, if you haven't seen my manuscript here, let me know. Like I said, I'll send it over to you too. But in that, I literally show down, and I have a video here where it breaks down the entire model as well too. Right? So like I said, tap in and just so you can see, like, this is an hour-long video of me breaking down this model here. So like I said, this is not something I just, hey, let me go ahead and like string together a lead magnet or a couple of things to drive some engagement in the society here. Like, that is far from what's happening. What's really going down is I want to just, like I said, I'm in the holiday spirit in a sense, and I just want to end this year with a bang. All right, so that's the model here. It's going to make a lot more sense now that you kind of can just see that really visually that way. So now we can really start to tap into each. All right, making sense so far, everyone? Comment yes so far if it is. And of course, like I said, keep hitting that like and love button to get some value here too on this end. Let me see. I'm just going to take a look. I don't know why my comments aren't loading, but I can look at my phone every once in a while. But I can see folks are here. Love it. Does the refresh work? You know, whatever. I'll just look at the phone here. Alan, good to see you. Nick, good to see you. Oh, there we go. I wonder if I can pull up over here too. Phenomenal. Definitely keep dropping your questions as well too as we're going here today. Like I said, this to me is so much. This to me is so much if you really lean into these strengths here. So let's go ahead and keep this party rocking as far as I'm concerned. All right. Next up on the docket, right? Let's go ahead now. Now that we know the three, you're right, Justice, okay, I got it. I understand why you're doing this. Makes sense. I follow. Can we get into it? Message received. Let's go ahead and get into it. Can I have a sip, though, real quick? All right, we're good to go. And let me go ahead and exit out some of these tabs. Like I said, I'm giving you access to this as well, too, at the end. So don't fret. You'll get it. And obviously, check out the post in the group, too, if you you happen to not be here and you want to make sure you get access. All right, so now let's dive into 3 secrets that really allow this to monetize, right? And as we get in as well here too, I do want to keep this piece in mind here. How in reality, right, we understand the model, right? I'm going to break down the secrets here now. I want you to start to understand a little bit that comes with each of these secrets, right? And we can even start with really the first one here. Let me zoom out a little bit here. The drive traffic manual, right? With this first one and alongside really all of them, there's a prerequisite to every single one, right? And so when I say that because, and really luckily I speak on what all of them are inside the manuals here too. But with this here as well, am I actually sharing my screen? I'm not even sharing anymore. With this as well too here though, right? We want to make sure that yes, we're taking care of the prerequisites, but once we have those, you can literally put your pedal to the metal and let loose, right? Let loose. And obviously as you start getting more leverage here, you can tell with this, I'm big on having a virtual assistant in the business. And even if you just have one, right? Like you can have a lot of this stuff being assisted throughout the process there too. Right? I had so many of our clients leveraging virtual assistants here. It's just such a powerful way to keep the business moving while you're away, right? So really now let's just go ahead and just take a look really at number 1 here, which is drive traffic, right? The drive traffic manual. I don't really want to, just because, so once again, I can give you a little glimpse. There's so much in here as far as all this stuff as well too. So I don't want to like just kind of harass you and go through all this. So really, I think what I might do is just kind of go back and forth between some screen sharing and just keep it real with you right here, right now. So like I said, let's go ahead and tap right in. The drive traffic manual out the gates, right? So number 1, I want you to think about this when it comes to driving traffic. There's 2 main stages, no matter what area you're at inside of the business, right? Number 1 is really you have to optimize the vehicle, right? We're staying on track here with the lingo of the drive traffic manual. So number 1, you have to optimize the vehicle. What's the vehicle here? That's your brand, right? And the good news here is that this is a one-time setup, right? One-time setup, which may include future optimizations. What do I mean by that? If I look back over my time since 2020, like I spoke here, yes, a lot of the things have stayed the same, but there's been like, let's call it once every, I'd be lying if I said that number, maybe a couple times a year, I'm adjusting the branding of what I'm doing, right? This can happen, sometimes maybe in a month I might do it a couple times. Sometimes a whole year will go by. I don't even touch the branding. I'm just focused on everything else. I mention this because a lot of the times if you're earlier on in this, don't fret about, my branding needs to be perfect, spot on, killer from day one. You're messing yourself up if you have that thought process. We want to just really get to this point where we can drive traffic. And really, if we're sticking with it here, where we can start putting miles on the car, right? That's stage number 2, if you will. Stage 1, how can we really optimize the vehicle? And stage number 2, let's put some put some miles on the car. AKA, let's start building those connections and really start driving that traffic, right? Let's start driving the traffic here. So with that, to me, what do I mainly use here, right? I kind of, this is like a little highlight that obviously leads everyone here to it. But for myself, I really focus on kind of these 3 platforms, if you will: Meta, LinkedIn, and email. Those are my main. And right within Meta, I mean Facebook and Instagram, and then I mean LinkedIn and then email marketing. The way that I see it here, really as far as true lead generation goes, I'm really leveraging Meta and LinkedIn. Email marketing for me is a great nurture platform. We'll talk about more of that in the content consumption bucket here, but powerful piece, okay? So for you, I want you to think about what is your main vehicle, right? What is your main, not your main, I guess in a sense, what's your main vehicle? Because that's your main profile that's being optimized. Could be Instagram profile, Facebook profile, wherever. Could be on TikTok. These are the places that I lean into. The point is, you have to have your sweet spot. You have to have the place that you can double down on. I focused on one platform until I hit my first 100K online, right? And that was Facebook. And if we're being real, I really didn't start making money on other platforms until I hit like 300K online. It was really Facebook. At that point, that was bread and butter. For us now, it's become a lot more equal between the 3. But that is a powerful piece I want you to keep in mind, because a lot of people, I just think, are really getting omnipresent a bit too soon in the business. If I'm being blunt, I think that it's fine to be omnipresent. And let me even put it out this way. There's a reason why I drive traffic with these platforms primarily. I didn't really mention TikTok. I didn't really mention YouTube. Yes, I'm on these platforms, but that's not really my bread and butter, because I like to think about freedom in the business. Why does that make sense here? What do I mean? Justice, elaborate. What are you talking about? When I mean I want freedom in the business, I don't want to be, think of it this way. I did a 2-month experiment back in early 2023. I think it was like February, March. I remember I wanted to get on TikTok. And so I remember I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a challenge. I'm going to do 2 videos a day. And obviously I'm running a business, right? So at that point, I think my business, I was around like, I don't know, 600, 700K at that point in the business there. So I was already doing things that were working. Let's just throw that out there, because there's people where they're going to experience what I'm about to share in a second here, and they don't have a business that's thriving like that, but they're still doing a lot of things, right? And let me say, I don't mean to toot my horn. I say thriving because I know some people want that. Want a business that's generated $600,000, $700,000. Some people are like, that's chump change. Like, I want 70 million, regardless of where you are. But for me, I remember I went and did that challenge, and I made it. It was like I think I wanted to do it for 60 days. I think I lasted 40 days, and I remember thinking, this is too much. I remember thinking, like, this is hurting my marriage. Like, it's literally keeping me up later at night, and so I'm losing time in bed with the wife. Like, it's just this is too much here. And so the reason why is because I was adding on a completely new process with TikTok and YouTube. These short form videos here. Right? Now I still do short form videos, but I'll get to it later where you'll see it's more leveraged, right? Because really that's the reason why I lean into Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn is because I can repurpose my traffic strategy using the very same type of mentality and methodology on all 3. I'm not having to create an entire new lead gen strategy, if you will. And really, we're going to talk about that, I don't like I said, this could be such a long live stream. I'm trying not to go too deep because I'm going to give you everything, but I'm going to give you everything inside of this manual here too. But with that being said, this is something just to keep in mind. You want to, and really I think of it this way, because my virtual assistant helps a lot with my lead generation strategy. There are pools of people on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and I don't need to get in front of them just by leveraging video content and hoping the algorithm gets them in front of me. With TikTok and these platforms, that is the case. I'm not sitting here telling you that one is better than the other. I'm telling you what I prefer and really kind of how I've built the business up. And let's lean back to that term of freedom I mentioned before. I prefer to have the freedom to not have to do all the extra. Right? I don't really want to go ahead and continue pumping out videos, if you on that side. But let's think about how do I do that in a leveraged way? I'm here doing live streams every single Wednesday. So what I do for short form content is I truly repurpose these live streams, chop them up, spread them out on TikTok, YouTube, short form videos that way. Think smarter, not harder. Yes, would I love to be doing, quote unquote, would I love to be doing short form videos? I know it'd be good, but it just comes back to it again. Like, I don't need to. I hit 40, 50, 65K months here without that, without dedicated short form videos. Yes, I would love to, but at the same time, I just don't feel like I'm there yet. I got so much stuff I'm doing and other projects to optimize these 3 places already. With, like I said, the meta platforms and LinkedIn. It doesn't make sense to go ahead and spread myself too thin on something that hasn't been validated yet. So it's my long-winded point of saying you need to go ahead and keep this same philosophy inside of your business as well too. And that the Drive Traffic Manual here really digs deep into this methodology, this philosophy, if you will, here too. How can we start putting miles in the car and really start driving that traffic, right? Let's get out there and drive that traffic. Big piece there, right? And I'll give you this too. One little piece too when it comes down, just to kind of help you out here. When it comes down to the branding side, if you will, the optimizing the vehicle, keep these 3 things in mind. I mean, you want to really be able to build trust with your brand. You want to keep it simple, clean, and kind of have this efficient aesthetic as you're really rolling stuff out. Because like I said, we don't need you overdoing it. And you want to be able to share your personality. I remember someone was looking at my Instagram the other day and like, it looks like that's your personal Instagram. Like, well, do you have a business one? I'm like, that is my business one. I share myself. I'm big into sharing personal. This is a personal brand. Let's lean into that truth here and take advantage. That's number 1, drive traffic, right? Like I said, I'm giving everyone the manual here at the end, but like I said, I want to just kind of walk through each so that you have some clarity on what the heck you're getting yourself into before you just go ahead and say, Justice, my goodness, you gave me so much inside of here. I don't even know where to begin. Let this be your guide to help show you where to begin. All right. Like I said, this is hitting home. Keep hitting that like and love button if it is, obviously. Really want to keep driving this for you here today. Let me take a peek too, because like I said, the comments don't seem to be working for me here now. Love it. Value, love it, Nick. Alan, good to see you. Mikkel, great, the legend. Come on now, great to see you, my man. Let's keep this party rocking. Love it here. All right, as we keep going now, we've talked about number one, drive traffic. Powerful piece here, right? Let me blow myself up here too. Powerful piece number one, because I'm realizing you're kind of just looking at a big blank screen here in a sense. Oh, let me move this back over. There we go. So let's keep this moving here. Now we talk about driving traffic. There's a reason I put this in the order I did, obviously. It goes back to the model, right? It comes right back to the model. So with that here, let's go to the next one. After we drive traffic, what happens next, Justice? What do we do next now? Now the cookbook comes into play. Right now, the content consumption cookbook comes into play here, and this is where I think that it can get real spicy for you. Not to keep going with these food analogies here, but it can get real spicy for you in the sense of what you can generate in the business when you take this methodology. Okay, I want you to think about it, because really within the content consumption cookbook, I talk about two different strategies when it comes to actually, if you will, how to go about your content strategy, right? At a very high level, right? I talk about two different kind of strategies at a very high level, and then I get into just one of them. Because one of them I'm not a big believer in. And not that I'm a big believer in it, but you can tell it goes with the strategy that I spoke on earlier. So let's go ahead and talk about what I'm talking about. Number one, the first kind of option, the first strategy is really utilizing the algorithm lottery system to generate brand new leads. I'm not a big believer in this side here, right? Which, as you can tell based off what I said with the short form content and pieces like that, right? So now number two is really build stronger relationships and nurture your existing audience. So this is where I focus. This is where I hang my hat. Okay? A lot of people would rather go with number one. Number one's more attractive. Number one's more sexy. Number one is it's the lottery system, right? I know there's no, to me, I call it the algorithm lottery system. This is not a real thing, I guess, out there besides I say all the time, because I feel like that's just the reality. It's very tough to actually work that algorithm for you, especially early on. And I just don't want to hedge my bets there. And so I'd rather go ahead and how could I be more proactive with the lead gen, following what I'm sharing with you or already shared with you in the drive traffic philosophy or methodology, or especially as you go through it, you know what I mean, even more. Maybe you're going through it right now as you watch this. But if we go through with this, now it really sets us up, right? Because let's keep this in mind too, right? There has to be two prerequisites to this stage here with the content consumption cookbook. Number one, we have to have an offer created, right? At this point, we should have an offer created, or at the very least, a minimum viable offer to promote to prospective prospects, prospective clients. Number two, we have to have a proactive lead gen strategy. The content consumption cookbook does not work successfully if you aren't leaning into what I talked about in the drive traffic manual. We need to be bringing in 30 to 90 leads per day into the business on a daily basis, right? 30 to 90, I say, if you're on multiple platforms, right? Technically, you can bring in less, but in reality here, we have, like the very minimum, I would say you have to be bringing in 10 to 15 a day. Bare minimum, right? We don't have leads, we don't have a business, okay? So with that being said here, I want you now to keep in mind that there is one goal that matters most with this content consumption cookbook here, right? There is one goal here, right? And that goal in reality, and once again, we now have the prerequisites on the table, right? So we now know that that's the case. So the one goal you need to keep in mind is that we really need to win over our audience through the power of really putting the right content in front of them. Over and over. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Let me say that one more time here. We have one main goal, right? One goal that matters most is that we need to win over our audience through the power of content, and not just the power of content, but the power of putting the right content in front of them day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. I could give you a perfect example of a client that just signed up with me last Friday, right? We're talking 4 or 5 days ago. This client and I had a conversation back in April 2023. Here we are, December 2024. They circled back to me literally a week before They say, Justice, I'm finally ready. And I don't even mean like, I'm not laughing because of the finally. I just think it's awesome how it popped up. But hey, Justin, they reached out of the blue. It's out of the blue, but it's not. We're gonna get into why it's not, but it's out of the blue. Let's just say out of the blue, I get a DM saying, Justice, I've gone through a lot of stuff here in a positive way. Got a lot of things in order. Got my ducks in a row. I feel like now's the time. How can we go ahead and have a conversation and pick up where we left off with the coaching? I go ahead, pass our information. Boom, from there, we're okay, and we're all set to go ahead now. Have the conversation. Before you know it, boom, deal done. Close just like that. Somebody who literally we hadn't spoken in almost 2 years. And that's how it plays out. Our first conversation back. This happens because of what I talk about here in the content consumption cookbook. The thing is that people overlook here is that a lot of people come into your world, everybody arguably comes into your world cold. Our goal is to turn them hot and to warm them up over time. Right? That is how you want to do it here. And so inside this content consumption book, I really break down that methodology. And on top of that, I really get into the 3 core recipes in order for you to start making better content today. Right? And I'll even tell you what they are right now. Number 1 is the 4 primary purposes of content. The better we can understand that, the more success we're going to have with really creating this potential, if you will, for the story I just mentioned to happen. And that happened after, like I said, 20 to 24 months. This can also happen within a month to 6 months. Like it doesn't have to take years. But that's why I say it's about putting the right content in front of your audience year after year, day after day. Both are important. So many people that I work with have known me since 2021. Right? Maybe so many is a stretch, but it's like maybe percentage-wise. There are people who have just been working with me for a long time, and we met back in 2021. We met back in 2022. And it's because I go so deep with them, and the way that I set my offer, it talks about it's the back end of this model here that I really teach that allows a lot of this stuff to thrive. Right? So that's a big piece here on this end. So really, so that's kind of one of the recipes, like I mentioned here, is really the 4 primary purposes of content. The second recipe is really prolific asset creation. It's really getting good at making assets here, even in the sense of how this is an asset. Like I said, it is what it is here. Like yes, you can call it a lead magnet, you can call it a resource, call it what you want, but getting good at creating these, and it's not just for the fact that you can get leads because we already have leads from driving traffic. It's about I want to be able to over deliver and give a ton of value that leaves people asking, I want more. There are so many people where, like I said, check this video out. So many people watch this video and are just like, Justice, you gave away everything. Like, Justice, you gave away the farm. Like, you just laid it out in a blueprint and said, here you go. Like, this is what people are afraid to do in this space. And in 2024, especially 2025, I'll tell you right now, information is at an all-time high while trust is at an all-time low. So stop being afraid and stop gatekeeping and start giving a lot more away. Because especially if you're on the coaching side, you can really lean into the support that you can give. You can really lean into some of these other levers that you have to really play, and really you can still have a standout offer that hits home. Like I said, I can think of 2 people off the bat since early on after releasing this video, who literally said like that video was spot on, and like I said, for both of them, that's all it took, and we were moving. And it's not that's all it took. Let's keep in mind here, it's the content consumption over time, right? What happened? My big thing in reality here, like I've reiterated a little bit here, is we want to be able to get cold leads in the business and turn them warm. There's many ways to do that, but one of the most leveraged ways, the one-to-many way that a person like yourself, if you're not a Russell Brunson, a Tony Robbins, a Grant Cardone, a person with a huge audience and branding power, and Alex Hormozi, right? And I would argue that Alex Hormozi is actually still doing this. So he's an example of this doesn't have to stop. It's if you continue, you're going to get new people find out about you all the time. If you can continue putting the right content in front of them day after day, like we said here, you are going to naturally kind of allow yourself to build trust with your audience on autopilot 24/7. Because people can just go to your page and just binge your content, right? Whether it's written content, whether it's video content. And this can just build a lot of know, like, and trust very quickly and efficiently, and can create these opportunities just like I mentioned, that have happened to me, right? How I've been able to have, 17K cash days and things like that. This comes from having the right pieces dialed in inside of the business. So definitely do not forget that piece there too. And then the last kind of recipe I speak on inside of there really is the key elements of a call to action post, right? Definitely a really big one here too on that as well. Because so really, that's really the big kind of pieces that I really speak on inside of here. Like I said, I'll pass this over to you as well at the end here too, but such a big piece to the game, right? Like I said, this is really that the depth side after we started wide, right? You consider this top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. And this is really how we want to start to just adjust things as we build out from here, right? And then lastly, we have direct connection, right? Direct connection diary. Last but not least here, obviously, if you're getting some value too, hit that like and love button as well too, obviously. Drop it down, drop it like it's hot as we go here too. Let me make sure. I saw Nick said the freedom to not have to do all the extra ish. So true. Less is more. Exactly, man. Exactly. Like so underrated. So underrated, that thought there, that philosophy, that way of seeing the business. It's real easy for people to kind of talk about doing everything, but then there's the actuality of waking up and doing it. And that's a little bit different, right? So with that, let's go ahead now and tap into the last one here, the direct connection diary, right? So with this here, if really the way I see it is that this is where most people get, this is where most people are fearful. This is where most people are struggling the most with their sales process and actually connecting with your audience on it directly, if you will, because this should be happening on a daily basis. When we're talking about the content consumption, some will try to trick themselves into thinking that they're directly talking to their audience. And yes, like use that verbiage, use that language that feels like you're speaking to that one person. Like I am speaking to you right now. But the reality is I'm not speaking to you right now. The reality is I'm speaking to the camera and you're on the other side, but there's also a lot of other people who are watching this video too. So with that being said here, how can we have more of a one-to-one direct connection? And that's really what I tap into with the direct connection diary, right? So with this here, this is, like I said, this is really where I believe people are struggling, and it's because of the stories they tell themselves, like why they don't want to get into these one-on-one conversations, right? I don't have enough authority to do that. No one wants to hear from me. I don't want to come off too salesy. I know that I wouldn't like someone messaging me. I don't like to barge in on people. My offer isn't good enough. All the reasons here, and to me, it's just a load of nonsense. And you've got to get past that, because without it, you can't really get to some of the most important pieces of this process, right? And really inside the direct connection diary, I break this down, but also I break down kind of the 4 pillars of monetizing one-to-one connections, which to me, I've done trainings in the past about how high ticket sales are born in the DMs. This to me is so big. So with that being said, I break this into 4 sections, which is really number 1, reaching out to leads. Right, the sole purpose here is to build connections with your audience, right? Build relationships with the connections that you have, right? We want to make sure that really our content is congruent with as we're people. Basically, want to make sure that our content is congruent with people as we're speaking with them in the DMs, right? There's an overlap there, so now it makes sense the conversation we're having, the direction that we're building up to. Beyond that, we have conducting these conversations, right? I would keep a focus on these 2 buckets when it comes to having a good sales conversation in the DMs, if you will. You could argue if you're doing sales calls, easily the same kind of thing. Bucket number 1, always resonate and build a true relationship with your prospects who are willing to return a similar energy back. You want to really tap into that. A lot of the times we're just looking to I just see people just interrogating and asking questions back and forth. It's like you got to have the right balance to really make this stuff hit. Bucket number 2 is really now, the other thing they got to keep in mind is really you want to work out how to find these 3 things from prospects, right? You want to try to figure out, scope their situation. What do they have going on? You want to understand what challenges are they going through? And you want to understand the goals they're looking to have, what outcomes they're shooting for. The sooner we can get this, the better, right? And really just keep a focus on these 2 buckets, and you'll see it solves a few things, honestly, right? It actually allows you to bring the direction of your conversation to a more positive place, which to me is where I see a lot of people struggle there. So that's a really big one we want to tap into. And then number 3 here is making offers. So obviously, and to me, this is a part that we broke it down actually into 2 sections. Number 1, there's the non-monetary side, which really not many people talk about. But But really within the non-monetary side, I kind of talk about the execute stage. I've been teaching about that for a long time, which is really specifically based on these non-monetary offers, which once again could be like, hey, you're going to send them to your funnel. You're going to send them to an asset. You're going to send them to an offer doc. You're going to offer a call. You're going to offer them to join your community, right? These are non-monetary offers here, which we can't overlook because a lot of people, they go into a conversation not knowing what non-monetary offer they want to make. And chances are you're going to make a non-monetary offer before you make a monetary one. So just lean into that reality and start mapping out a game plan that understands the direction you want to take it. Because like I said, I think a lot of people, they get into a situation and then they're like, oh, you know what? I don't really know what to do here. Let me just kind of wing it. And winging it can work, but we don't want to wing it if possible, right? And then second inside of the making offers, is really monetary offers, obviously, right? So with that, I say this all the time to my clients. If you want to make $10,000 a month, you have to make at least $10,000 worth of offers. The reality is, if you're making $10,000 worth of offers and you're trying to hit 10K, you're probably not going to hit 10K because nobody closes at 100% consistently. So with that being said there, you probably want to make at least $20,000 worth of offers, $40,000 worth of offers, right? Look back at your close rate and that can start to tell you what value and offers you have to be making for your own business. Right. And then really finally there's the follow-up, which is number 4. And this is just a place where I just see so many people drop the ball. Think of it this way, right? You spend all this time, right? Right? Going through the model where you're driving traffic consistently. Then with the traffic, you're getting good leads in. Now you got good leads and you're warming up with your content. You're getting them to a sweet spot, right? You're doing all the things. You're staying consistent. You're doing this for days, weeks, months, years at a time. Then you get a good lead that actually connects with you, right? It goes well, whatever the case is, and then maybe it pauses, right, for whatever reason. So now as it pauses here, let's start to think about why would you forget about them, right? Because that's what's happening with a lot of people. They'll have a good lead, and then they just kind of forget about them. And to me, you have now wasted so much of your money or your time. Because no matter what, when it comes to this game, you're spending one or the other. You can't get away scot-free. You have to spend at least your money or you have to spend your time. Money with the paid ads, time with organic. Potentially could be a little bit of both, if you will, too. All right. For me, it is both. So that's where in reality here, we want to make it where you are not forgetting this, because this to me is just a place where it can make it feel like you're just, because you're not letting leads slip through the cracks, it's kind of like you're just gaining free money down the line because you took that little bit of extra time, right? You said, hey, how's it going? I haven't talked to you in a while. Hey, happy holidays. Comment on their story. Whatever the case, 1,000,001 ways to do it. I'm not here to, this isn't a follow-up tips piece on this live right now, but inside the Direct Connection Diary, I give you a lot of this stuff as well too. All right, so that's really, once again, I wanted to break down these 3 for you here. If you want these Secret Trilogy assets here, right? If you want this, go ahead and comment secret down below. I will make sure I get you hooked up and we'll get this taken care of for you. If you got some value to this, once again, hit the like button, comment value. Let me know that this worked for you here today. I just really wanted to come in here, like I mentioned, and just give you a high overview. It was awesome to see people soaking this stuff up within the community when I dropped it. If you've got it from me already, great. If not, I'll circle back your way. But regardless, lean in, soak this up. I'll try and add this to the actual to this here too, just so you're gonna have this for your reference. But so you might be watching this video already as you're going through it. I just want to give you a little bit of insight beyond the words, if you will, so you can really kind of take this and run with it and just have get a clearer idea, a stronger idea of how I use this in my own business. All right, so that's it for today. Let me know if any questions. Obviously, I'll make sure to circle around later to help you out. But with that being said, I'll let you get rocking. Take care for now, everybody. Be good.